You may often come across terms like parliamentary or presidential when discussing different systems of government. But what exactly do these terms mean? How do parliamentary and presidential systems differ from one another? And are there any other types of government worth exploring? In this video, I will explore these questions and provide a comprehensive overview of presidential and parliamentary systems of governments, along with a brief mention of the semi-presidential system. So let's delve into these topics and gain deeper understanding of these differences. Presidential and parliamentary systems. Before we can explore the distinctions between presidential and parliamentary systems, let's establish some fundamental concepts. Defining the state and government is no easy task, as these definitions often vary within the realm of political science and there is no consensus on it. However, for our purposes, we can consider the state as an abstract entity and use the definition provided by Max Weber, a prominent German sociologist, who described it as a compulsory political organization with a centralized government that maintains a monopoly on the legitimate use of force within a specified territory. In simpler terms, for example, the state possesses the authority to arrest and imprison individuals based on their law, while private individuals do not hold such rights. Additionally, the state's exercise of force is limited to its territorial boundaries, meaning that it lacks jurisdiction in another country. It is crucial to note that this authority is only considered legitimate when exercised within the confines of the law. On the other hand, the government represents the tangible aspect of the state. It consists of individuals who govern the state for a designated period. The government is typically divided into three branches: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. The legislature, often represented in parliament, is responsible for enacting or amending laws. The executive branch governs the country in accordance with these laws, with the highest level being the cabinet, and the judiciary, comprised of courts, interprets and applies the laws in the name of the state, serving as a mechanism for dispute resolution. To better understand the differences between presidential and parliamentary systems, we must also grasp the concept of the head of state and the head of government. The head of state symbolizes the abstract organization of a country, while the head of government assumes the primary responsibility of leading the executive branch. Now let's explore the presidential and parliamentary systems in detail. In presidential system, the head of state and the head of government are often the same person, known as the president. This consolidation of power allows for a single individual to hold both symbolic and executive roles. Additionally, the legislative and executive branches in the presidential system operate separately from one another, with each having its own elections. These separate elections result in limited interference between the two branches, although the president generally possesses greater authority. For example, the president often holds the power to reject or veto laws passed by the parliament. However, in some instances, the parliament can exert its authority on the president through a special majority or supermajority, typically requiring two-thirds approval. It is worth noting that the presidential system is predominantly found in countries across the American continent, with the United States being the most notable example. In contrast, presidential systems are relatively rare in Europe. Contrary to the presidential, the parliamentary system operates with a different dynamic. In this system, the head of state and the head of government are typically two distinct individuals. The head of state, whether titled as the president, king or queen, or holding another designation, generally assumes a ceremonial role with a limited executive authority. The primary responsibility of governing the country falls upon the head of government. Moreover, the executive and legislative branches in the parliamentary system are not entirely separate as observed in the presidential system. Instead, there exists a level of interdependence between these branches. The parliament plays a central role in the parliamentary system, electing the head of government. In parliamentary system, the head of government is commonly referred to as the prime minister, although variations in title exist, such as the chancellor in Germany. The process of selecting the Prime Minister involves internal consultation within the Parliament. While the Parliament typically chooses the Prime Minister, there are certain cases where, after an unofficial selection by the Parliament, the head of state officially appoints the head of government and introduces him or her to the Parliament for approval. Subsequently, the Prime Minister proceeds to form the cabinet and introduces its member to the Parliament. It is noteworthy that in most countries with a parliamentary system, all members of the cabinet are also parliament members, ensuring a strong connection between the executive and legislative branches. The method of electing the head of state varies across parliamentary system, including direct election, selection by parliament, or appointment based on historical and customary relations as commonly seen in constitutional monarchies. In exceptional cases such as in South Africa, a parliamentary system can exist with the head of state also serving as the head of government. However, in such instances, the individual is elected by the parliament. Today, the majority of European countries operate under a parliamentary system, with the United Kingdom and Germany serving as prominent examples. In addition to presidential and parliamentary systems, there exists a third form known as the semi-presidential system. This system incorporates elements from both presidential and parliamentary systems, resulting in a unique hybrid structure. In a semi-presidential system, the head of government, often titled the president, is directly elected and assumes primary executive responsibilities. After their election, the president appoints the prime minister and together they select the cabinet, which subsequently requires parliamentary approval. While some semi-presidential systems grant the president limited power over the prime minister and cabinet, others establish accountability for both the parliament and the president. In the former case, only the parliament possesses the authority to remove the prime minister and cabinet through a vote of no confidence. However, in the latter case, the president retains the power to dismiss the prime minister and cabinet. France stands as one prominent contemporary example of a country employing the semi-presidential system. In conclusion, presidential, parliamentary, and semi-presidential systems represent various forms of government within modern democracies. Currently, the parliamentary system is the most prevalent worldwide, being adopted by 93 countries. Presidential systems are less common, with 63 countries employing this form of governance. Additionally, there are 31 countries that operate under the semi-presidential system, which combines elements from both presidential and parliamentary systems. It is important to note that these numbers may vary in other reports, as the categorization of governing systems is not always straightforward in the real world. In some cases, there may be a lack of consensus when categorizing a country governance under these systems. I have provided a comprehensive overview of the distinctions between presidential and parliamentary system of government, along with a brief mention of the semi-presidential system. If you found this content informative, we would appreciate your support by liking the video and subscribing to our channel. Feel free to leave any questions or suggestions for further topics in the comments section. Thank you for watching and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.